Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started here in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, candidates, get to your posts. Again, please, any signs that you might have brought in, candidate support signs, ado alkate not ahe hajodo Zachin sada busilk eden neha da busilk int ajot oslak edetol netol zetochil. Again, get familiar with the building. Exit signs are lit up in case of an emergency. There are men's and women's room. If you do need to go, excuse yourself for the restroom. There's no food or drink allowed in the auditorium except water. We also will be live on 3 radio stations. KGAK out of Gallup, New Mexico. KNDN. And if you have family living out anywhere on Navajo, FM 97.5. Our transmitter is located on top of Roof Butte, Monument Valley, Donle Pinyan. So let them know to turn the radio on there. And we ask that you put your phones on silent. We're going to get started here in the next minute. Please put your phones on silent. And let's make some noise for your candidates here, ladies and gentlemen. Hold your horses. We haven't started yet, so yeah. All right, who's ready? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started with the Navajo Nation Presidential Candidates Forum, brought to you by Basin Health Companies and Animus Nissan of Farmington. Bepeso dat sohui en hike en da azla hasil tsito lel nge yat eto hedan hidit nil nchel nabi yedoshi ta isanol tsa nge na njo jeto adon dan nge tut khato adon dan nge pesle chi in sikese bi yedashi lan hinal nda dil kito lel kodo nebenat anin yede je higitsel kedo je kes twisani kodo satobuch ahadeiz nil agan teje ne khay khagi Eshi kodo saton dabadik hito lehtonat at ape ze konet asato I on hichahada dotze. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you to the Phil L. Thomas Performing Arts Center, coming to you live from Shiprock, New Mexico, Northern Navajo Nation. Ado khahasil ito o khayun hidne aden khahas kado saslim hinat ani tabesh bahasa ando sa dekushi Not on in that lily la con hit hataholo stwido sanage yat eto head and hiddi nil. Nich eda hot I am your MC today and your lead organizer for this event, Lydell Rafaelian, Shekin the Chitin in Shlon Tratnesani, Bash's Chin, Hodicini Dasha Chedo, Kia Ani Dashanale, you see in the Renat Nail Jean, Eastern Navajo, Adona Shand, and the Red Old Age, Namasin Nas Sauce, Biskin Shnan, Holodon Hatchan Holo. Adon the Rails Nebi Yedoshi Net, it's 11 years on the radio from Farmington, New Mexico, by way of KNDN. Abina Nenadish Shanachai. Esht Ado Kaigedon, he volunteers, Shikaiche or Sato, Ada is Nehido, Shadabato, non Haba Hita Kadia, All our volunteers, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, purpose statement. The Navajo Nation Presidential Candidates Forum provides an opportunity for voters and community members to hear directly from the candidates seeking the office of the President of the Navajo Nation. This forum is intended to promote civic engagement, encourage informed voting, and provide a respectful platform for candidates to share their visions, priorities, and solutions for the future of the Navajo Nation. Dije kodon khabastahil ado bandi khagi eshin hi anda ayo nlido na bekhon nlnigi nihbejt aholonigi do anao anhahadet anigit also dije weto chilo dije squisani sayij tahande do dali adadotsi khebenat anin yede jehido Washington na yoswalotina do khagi kodo nihinan ada deshlestano yete hatahitesigi nihcheshan do lespenia da ilneto lestije ashidanits khodeditsia. At this time, we're going to ask that you stand to your feet as we get our colors here. If you can, please stand. If you're not able to, that's fine. And we ask that you please put your phones on silent. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, posting of the colors will be done by your local Shiprock Chapter Veterans Organization Color Guard. Anat alinez khotoni salat so danat ayah de jato leh. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, your Northern Navajo youth royalty will be doing the Pledge of Allegiance. The nek ashitanat ayah hadadet zito leh.
Ashkladinga benahadzagi bedahnat ae she shetaligo babaje adishne hala ajoba dosia senye hadat kayat atla isa anigi dinane ye hadil zin benajani ke ajoba pazili bedahini tra.
Your Shiprock Chapter Veterans Organization Color Guard. You may be seated at this time. Candidates up on the upper platform, be careful, the stage is a little short, so ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to receive an invocation, followed by a welcome address by a Shiprock resident. Help me welcome to the stage Mr. James Hunt Jr., who is an INFR Hall of Fame inductee.
Yat Asianale, Kushi to the deals in store. Yat eat me, could it Hujon Dolly? Oh, Yananat out of Kodeshet each out of a quest at the nets of the Zani hat, Zini out of Niada, Neko a Yaha, a quati, Ninat Anit and Linigi, though I didn't know Yahagi, a he between the alto Yahaban Nia. Okay, he has a cane of Lingi, I didn't know Yahagi, I thought no Zanago, out of shade on any slingi Nashasha, Nislingo slipping Bashing. Ada Yahanagan is a shade at Edo Kilichini. Shinale that what I had an enslin, Ado Chado and Nalan Snilto, Ado says Sando Hollow, a Yaha Darlene will get. And they need 2 years like Jolina and Econ, a K Ado Ia. O ko Yat Ado Quanin and a corner has honey at the head that is Z. Coda Yahasin hat the ne, neatness a banana start of corn. Is an anadole stanoko. Eshuka at the anibi codotinos aroko, Yayadas tigi comp, natural a yahakin or casting or casing part of Asnosanigi, ain ye yahako, codonin and I. Ado hasan and I, at the head of Zigi, Nantagita, Ado ani, Nata, Yat Egishi, nada the deeds into. Neat is an anadole, Ishibin, what on Nikedan Leko, Stoppada Jopa Dainson, go Hasan and Queno Yaki Arnoldso. Other dequai not ani nes, others a tro, Joe what I yabi bottles and dequai. Hasin Zada has 3 done Leko Sonico, Kate had Edo Companata that eats I did the whole cheese. Other than Nasa Ahas and Nike none set a dark be the hollow, a ye inadi. A codi that ego eco a yasta hadito, Tratatin the Haleo, Tratatin dism. Are the 8 out of on to the godo, a ye did eco, got in nothing, the lequet not any nazit in a cat any. Adonan set in lingi, a chesiando, than is canado, naiz. Ada betsetso that Ebelasan at that. What I ye inade del on, eben nach Adacon, Balchin in Linigito, Econ, out so Canada and ye at Tico. A co equat I cannot ani nes, Ade, Shanat ani quano, Yahid open Nadi, Shinsa, Nzade came to Hasoka. A co hair, quano, Yahaki, and Sago, Ecuador, he had the Dini so quite on him, not ani de Jagi, a hair with the Dini shit no epic a. Ado a quackes on at this Dina Hasto, a yaha not ani nes. Ado a yaha the Beverland and Linigito, a Hasanan Slako. Eben as it's ani ek with Leo Holonigi, a ani with a Adoko, quite a neck hit in not ani nazi, Ado Ade Lido Elke, Ado Nin Hansa, Ado San Juan, Ado Sadakan, Ado Kuya, Trata Hayaldot. Got a hotel, I don't like a ahoya. I don't let Abich Indigoya, I don't let Bluffia, ahoya, hol, our a yaha, Kaya hodlo, what are in her, Nikate and Lingy ina de a cock hair, even as a Quenhan or ya, Arnold so he had, he did dish nito, quite the Ahon Shago, what are hated in nito, but not a ni kinani ni edan lini ni denadan lini ko daidos ebik ako sinant a heto chain hito ni do kwano ya tanotso ntsago hehan hidishin kwano ya haki ako hot ani hadis a hot haya heha.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to introduce real quickly our moderators for this evening. Your local Shiprock chapter vice president, Ms. Deborah Yazi, will be one of our moderators. Na Konaegi, your Enith chapter president, Dr. Karma Claw, should sit. Do Shanale, Nretotlakan, Sweetwater, Arizona, do Mr. Melvin Willie. Kodot these will be the ladies and gentlemen that will be asking the candidates questions. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and start with the presidential candidate introductions. We're going to give them 1 minute and 30 seconds to introduce themselves. From the upper platform, moving down this way. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to give the floor to Mr. Leiser to do his introduction.
Oh, yad shake Myron Lizer Yinishia, Comanche Nishle, Tohana Bashes Chin, Do Comanche Deshache, Klasha Deshanelli. It's great to be with you here today. Thank you for this, Lydell, my brother, and Shiprock Phil Performing Arts Center. It's good to be here. My campaign is based on economic sovereignty, visionary leadership, as I was the 10th sitting president of the Navajo Nation for 4 years, 2019 to 2023 during the pandemic, and growth and prosperity. I believe this presidency, this election is based on economic development and our youth. And so I look forward to bringing us all together under one banner, unified, pursuing all we can be.
Thank you. Next candidate for introduction, Ms. Emily Ellison.
Good to be back in Shiprock again. Usually come through here to play some baseball. There's a lot of baseball talent in Shiprock. So you might want to give your youth a round of applause because there's a lot of talent here. We still beat them though. Na kaden shlin do halsoy bashichin kiane dashichedo betani edashnale le kin wajonda do jajalskate nasha, so that's west of Gallup by Lupton and then south towards Zuni. I've got a business degree and I've pursued different forms of education both in New Mexico and internationally, mostly in China. I was a Peace Corps volunteer for the US Peace Corps for 4 years, and then I returned home, and now I'm an executive director for a nonprofit. I also serve on board as a board for different groups. My platform from 2018 has remained the same. Those issues still persist, and I think it's really important that we get our governance in control because that's what sovereignty is. Thank you.
Thank you. Next candidate for candidate introduction will be Ms. Crystalline Curley.
Oh, yad eshik do ashine kodo nhaso kaigi do ba hetanitsen. Ado she senje kenen neshle to headlini bashichin kia ani dashe che do ziltka kia ani dashanale what amato asanshle. Aaron le so hale hol yehete ate nasha salana do salagina hos ate do bistot ijin deskij kwa ekibet ka eki ke hastingi do shi yaho do atin en khali tahalo aje ado atin de twin dahike ado dik at shina nishtra do no which na he alanje besh patasa anabayashtio Jokodo manslon le nasho on halchine bansis keso do kodo aton de chihigi jo hajogo banahat betzilon ta dilnil tishno what ashinat at dit do ado di altko kodo 3 branch system halu hol yegi elsko bi in shishnish do bi wesh do trago altros betziligi do isalpa konde alate igi mansle masansle what ashin hat at dit do kodo a hehen kidini do le do kodo jinko den noche do le do do hat en kitchen hasti do le hehe.
Thank you. Our next candidate for introduction will be Miss Debbie Nez Manuel. At this time for candidate introductions, Mr. Daesh, minute 30. So, all right, Miss Manuel.
Thank you to all of the organizers. That food back there was delicious, to the sponsors who helped make that possible. Thank you. And to our veterans, Ekeha and Tlago, for sharing with us the ceremony of recognizing the flags and all of the work that you've done here in your community. Welcome to all of the ranchers and farmers here, the mothers, fathers, grandfathers, Ekeha, the grandmothers who sit with us this evening. She sanja kenenchle, tetna bilni bashish chin, tetna jenita she, trabaha dashanala, lay twada, ayisada nasha, shalchini etra, Megan Do, Haley Dolya, Ado Shestki, Johnny Johnson. Thank you to my family this evening for supporting me. I am a mother, and we take care of our sheep. During this campaign, we had to put our hogan on pause. We're building a log home hogan right from scratch, and it's something that I'm really proud of. It shows me, it tells me what our great-grandparents built and how they used their hands and how they used the land and the soil to take care of their family. It's a really good reminder of who we are and how far we're going and how we have to take care of our people. I also want to share that, I've been spending some time here in Shiprock getting to know the communities and some of their bigger challenges. I want to express my condolences to the families. I understand that the other day there was an irrigation blockage, and it caused one of the colts to get killed in that blockage because of the dirt and everything. Thank you to the firefighters for responding to that incident, and to the veterans who tried to help out. I'm thinking about you. I know that was a hard situation that you all had to deal with. We really are moved when we see livestock go through that, so I just want to extend that.
Thank you. The timer, so I'm your timekeeper. So if candidates, if you just look this way when I do this, it's time's up. Okay? Next candidate for introductions, Mr. Alexander Chambers.
Not Ani Nez. I want to say thank you for allowing us to be here today. This altar right here. Nahat asala. Joy shibini yakwa hadet eko ayan ekwa bakagas ya. Aron the AAD, the basket without hadet eko. Najgono shibe that they lay benihit at the door. So my name is Alexander Chambers. Tratna sanin shlon traba habashin and shachayet hodich ini dan little shanale na kaidene dan lim. And so, I was born here in Natani Nez at the old hospital up there. I am 43 years old. And I used to remember playing in those canals back there. I spent most of my toddler days on Shiprock. This is where I was born and raised pretty much before I went anywhere else. And this is a very a good group of people with knowledge and wisdom, and that have stepped up to the plate to do this.
Thank you. Next candidate for introduction, Mr. Justin Jones.
Yat A, Shikado, Shidanedo, Shelkahasnito, that Arnold has Twido Sanido, the Nedo Sunset KGK, Archinja Nahol, Yat A, Hidini do lit. And need a conshit edge, Adon Ensch, Lenige Epit, Nidon Enschle, Tratnes Zanebash Chin, Kindlichin Edash Chedo, Ashi Edashinelle, Sensad is Ahol Yedo in Asha, I call Rock Point, Arizona. Shamado Shijedo Belhe J.A. de Hollo, Arostand Bilinash Inigek at Hatin Obashla, Hidini now, Ekho in Latin Haniato, Adon Daishal Chind Hanilt, Eya Ekathalt Ekoben, Hahozos Batsale, Akot Agot, Eya Hans Ahoshi, Ayahil, Selkain, Lenigido, Jakain, Lenigi, Akot Aniheda Liasle. Del Cledo Tosacado, Yas Lao, Ado Sodeziniki Bas Lao, Adon the 8 the Bedo Kona Zon, Saint Begashido, Ado Tak Eto Konhalon, Ebigido Hot out Yahil, Halan He Hot An Hiyaho, Ebenina, so Edi Jaded at it, Kot Alhinina. I call Edi Ben Nashet, Eya Eden Zentle, Do has Twido Sani, Nile, La Ben Nashet Nahat Aholone. Agedo ateno toda hast elde not aten nitle. Johot algo die bikahoye. Ako here kwen khani kaisele. Aha.
Thank you. Next candidate will be up on the back podium or the back platform. So it's I know you're ready to go. Let's make some noise for all your candidates. Shache Naholji's Mr. Daesh. Minute and 30 seconds for introduction.
That eho Shache, yeah. I know it's good to be in Shiprock. It's good to be home. Ja, can't get this. Sivit an inchla. As going to Zoe, that's a zero not quite a nay, that's a null, touchini, that's a che. Such a nation here that, oh, Kabedak, Egot Asano, Tago, Shamado, Shizé, Shech, Nalle, Shen Shell, Chin, Shadish, Daisy, and the Toyat, and get the Schnidolet, the Hilch begin. Aroba, Haden is away the house. I gave a shane away, he white Tonleni, Tonleni. Aropan hoya itak SNL. Akwe has twille na koidnes is labajaninde John Dash quake in the quay ya hut out is ze quay ya has been on hold jeez. Dark ependalness. But lana he. See don't hear what no the better and hear what no. Not no she hear what no. But ya patch a yonder day on. You had land here nach but ya ha quay ya has jacket in there an nido beke has stain but ya ha quay yaho don't the quay who has anigi ya ha was tai de yaho kadedo kick over kick and has napako ya do high school tai ya but la yat enan hit the snido later don't the home. Should I able to snani that Akodo? I wrote this thing over I don't know what Yahan Yaha what in night on hold the but Yaha to Arden Shilbin in a hunt on Abahone Zeda should say.
Sound man, please keep an eye on me. probably easier to do that. Just cut the mic off, and then they know they're done. All right. Kodona holds to lil. Nagait lil. A minute, 30 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Next candidate, Mr. Larry Noble.
Yat kahasi lo are konoslonigi da nostro. Aro kwa hosol anagin hidolosnant I could get an hastronigi. Larry Noble igins yet a rehoye dego. Steamboat, adego east, ado nans tinige, the sly top hensle, ado change kinabas chin, to the chin edashin, nalado to the quasi edashe, ado shadow alchin a hullo. Sklas alchin aro e nanist as touchy that echo hoto e is alchin do sahin hoto e nail e don dan he bekas he don hilli a which an skadi for adik was hasi lo yeah.
Next candidate, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Chi, minute 30.
Yat eishik eishidene. Ina nishtahadlon de kon haisokhe. Nihidadish adi nahat ait ihigido nahat bayat higi. Eshin hinnet dan lingo kon haisotha. E hehe dan hidit nekodo de ni jehigi. Ado de ni jehigi kodo. I seen hijeda that odedo hajod nebato nilano sonche kodo. Hilda Hoilnet or Lil. Die has got the hun slido last she, but she not created another she. Who ate Lenny the Shinale. Ado what I ate an enchly. Ado at the Babylon should is city. Ado the neck agitation not yet kick or ade beshiaho. Ado this street the egg at Shunanis in Sendo. What's all the neck agitate but the nesh now the net and Nila. Edo iltraut ela bilgana cashido yastkida. Ot nan hidot nesho that ila noda hadat a conde otskio bet nas hige epel gana ultraji religious study degree will yell shinanish ishlag we selpa ado graduate study theological seminary so Kansas City ishla ado Durango, Colorado, a teaching degree. Ishla Shalta Quena Din, Ishla Nache Wonder.
Yeah. Then the Sabi Yoasa shot no ahe, Helasatna. Ya, the minute and 30. Shanat Ani no Senigi. Next in queue will be Mr. Curley. Minute and 30 for candidate introduction, please.
All right, let's fight with the microphone. Hey, yat my name is Andrew Curley. Bilagan initially, Hanagani Bashachin, Bilagan Dashacheki, Anna Dashanale. It's good to be here in Shiprock. I was here in this auditorium, I think last time in 2008. My friend Morona and I were presenting to high school students about the Navajo Nation government, so it's good to be talking about the Navajo Nation government. I think they were really bored at that time. Anyway, I'm an associate professor at the School of Geography, Development, and Environment at the University of Arizona, and I want to ask every candidate here to pledge. This is inspiration for my running. I want us to pledge uphold the Dene Natural Resource Protection Act of 2005. No uranium mining, no new mining. Please support this law. The integrity of it. The integrity is very important. So my platform is that land reform by 2030. We really want to get people to get home site leases done, business site leases done, infrastructure built. Okay, thank you very much. Wait, is that, okay. Downsize the office of the president, vice president. I don't have staff. I can do a lot of that work on my own. All right, sustainable development, that is an aspirational goal. That's where we want to bring the Navajo Nation into the future. We want to think about where the Navajo Nation is going to be in 2126, and that starts today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Candidates, make sure the microphone cable is plugged in good so we don't get interrupted and think it's me. Next candidate, Mr. Boo Nygren.
Yate, Kehen, Kidini, the Letney, the never came of a car, Archido, Naho, Conso Hadasso, Kisdo, where Tatano, Tangi, a Kehen, Kidini, Lai, Sebastian, Hojo, Hodo, Tasatado, the Neat in the day, Higido, Hodona Hans, Tanigi, Los Twido Sani, Kehen, Kidini, the Lai, you say. Het alle de nebbe Washington dat die kan stoch jobben en dat dan dus het o ja dacht geven jen dat has kregelt zede gehen gedien die gekede hanlodo ai sin kemadon gejedo het o sin khade zollo gech hatas negi gehen gedien aro khodoye le khodobanses kesigi ai dasit khada hanil zen thatshi in slo nats os basis chindo thode chini das chedo nats os de shnal e hoto thana khedon stan de zeda ze hwa hun zago de nebanan ansi ai yese she has zenigi na hede zenigi hodo First Lady Jasmine Blackwater nair e hodo Agatit ahedo man lido yesin lezet khabej bkhot zoj e hoto na hui ahedo agatit ahilon kachene na ke khadit esh e hodo naide ke jod kashe nai dashika getat dasdo e wat net kho ke het enigi yat e hos lao do konten sesigi do ze in skhin dat nesigi lat nil zet kana adne ara khojesto thun chhoge band hal esge hoda haut enigi deze ara hoda haut e de kuige shinal soz ebe a kehen kedini.
Thank you. Next candidate for candidate introduction, 1 minute and 30 seconds, Mr. Donovan Begay.
Although fellow candidates, Navajo Nation leaders, state leaders, Shay Donovan Begay Shay Babes and Slit Glini Bashin, Nakadin Che, Toba the Nationale, Didin in Schle, Shilfa Joe Yacht Equa and Ani Nez, home of the chieftains, right? Chieftains. Yeah. How many chieftains out there? Yeah. Curling Broncos. Is anybody here? Chieftains. Broncos. This is how we do it out here, right? During the basketball games, everyone gets crazy. Yeah. State champions, all these people out here. That's the way it is. These guys don't know it yet, but this is my town. I was on the advisory committee. Could you, during the time that EVP Stokely was there, also Lester Light, Otto Lester, he's here, and I'm thankful that he got me onto the advisory committee. Otto Hano Glade Dena Shaw, that's Carson. Chitlaw the could you go? Chitlaw the Hano Glade all the way to Bestrai.
Time, sir. Thank you. Next candidate, Mr. Arvin Trujillo, 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Joyade. My name is Arvin Trujillo. Jason Sakadi and Schlimpet Anye Bashichin, Ashin Dashachedo, Nakaidanet Dashanale. I'm from Fruitland, New Mexico. And looking at what we're doing here with the candidates here, you know, I'm an engineer. I've got 40 years of experience. I've been working in corporations. I've been working with nonprofits. I've worked for the Navajo Nation. I've worked for tribal enterprises over these 40 years. 11 of those years have been with the Division of Natural Resources. That was during Kelsey Begay and Joe Shirley Jr.'s administrations. And so again, the experience that I have is what I want to offer you as Navajo people. I've been able to achieve a lot of beneficial projects and initiatives for the Navajo Nation through the years. And again, I know the government. I know how it works. I know how to get things done. I'm an engineer. I look for results. And again, that's what I want to bring to the nation, our results. So again, as we look at this effort, we're talking leadership here. Everyone's going to talk leadership. But who has managerial experience? That's what I've got. I've been able to prove that running large organizations and running complicated organizations and also supervising engineers.
Thank you. Next candidate for introduction, 1 minute 30 seconds, Mr. Johnny Russell.
Yate say Johnny Russell, get 22 shiro tani sanid, the Shijat last cheat, the Chidos International. He's tried to last Aaron, I guess a cardi landboard, Slido, Kayato, Talicar, Dash, and the home site least of Bahassan. A call, one has 20 Eastern Agency, the Yeda Hassenda, Kayas and Ledo Yeda Hassenda. Sheba Hassan. Aro coin such a do in this sheet that had cleared RJ transitioners, Arisa condal that had cleared Bahishkars, a codo had a donilo, one Nahash H, a coena, a larger Ashe Bahassan. Aro Asati ik industry, the head of Banashnister, beside the Navajo Nation, the landboard. Ako Asati in the list, Asati draw all day. Aro I ate Banashon for 36 years, how one day I'm a specialty in these homes. Got one day anything, they'll crack in 5 years, I guarantee it. That when that's it, she ko hote, Aro say that I should get out, I don't ask at I'm the little dog out here compared to these guys, yeah. Everybody knows these guys. They are about the Huddles and Shado Shahadils and I want to get up there with you guys. I'm kicking down at the Abagane, but since Kato, or Ardaban, Tunde.
Thank you. Next candidate for candidate introduction will be Mr. Jordan Bigay. Minute 30 seconds.
Testing. Jo yat anot shik edos dine ada tahasi lo ada yatin ada kunija LT nahal oh yat ata anot dao kebek ego sheya Dr. Jordan Bigay yenis yeah ado bi petoni twitch eating in the song kia ani buses chin ye dine etachini edas che ado ta nasani dashnale twene helite nasha ado kut awa yat nenes ado kebe ni yashtik Zonago di the nepanat ani ea bayeswal. Nasko the nepetn dashnistole. Nasko in injet nahat agi. Zonigi a banseskes. Good evening, everyone. Good morning. Good evening, Northern Navajo. It's an honor to be here. I come to you from the Western Agency. I commend each and every one of you guys for coming and showing your support for our Navajo Nation government. I know I wanted to greet and thank all the 427 Navajos who are part of our Navajo Nation. I encourage you guys to participate in your government, get out and vote. I thank the law enforcement officers, the emergency management service, the firefighters that are out there that work 24/7 to protect our communities. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I am excited to step forth. I know as a leader, I'm not going to do it by myself. I have hopes to find subject matter experts in all the operating divisions across the Navajo Nation government to meet the needs of our people, the inequities, the disparities our people face every day.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, those are your candidates vying for the Navajo Nation President. The Nebanat Anin Yedeche. Thank you. By the end of this session, you guys will be professionals. Those of you that are standing along the wall, please find a seat. The fire marshal is going to tell you to leave. There's plenty of seats, so find a seat for those of you that are standing along the wall and outside, unless you have a badge. Oh, all right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the Q&A session? We started planning this forum about a month ago, a little over 30 days. Again, thank you to all the volunteers that helped and those that submitted questions. We shared the flyer with all the candidates and hoping they shared with their supporters. QR code a day liado. We had a Google form up for 30 days, all the way to 3 o'clock this afternoon. So those questions were submitted. Some of them received the questions. I couldn't get some of the other emails, so if you don't know the questions. So this time we're going to pull from the fish bowl. To be fair to the candidates here, we're going to go start from this side, back this way. Thank you, candidates. So candidates, the questions that have been prepared for you today did come from Navajo citizens and constituents, registered voters from all across the agencies, and some that don't even reside on Navajo, but they do have a census number and are enrolled. So some of the language we had to change a little and do some correction. Those questions will be posed to you in English. If you want it in Navajo, we can do that. We can do that too. You'll be given 2 minutes to respond. Candidates, again, 2 minutes for your answer and your response. Once the microphone goes off, the next question. All right. We're going to go into the question round, round one. Our elder here, he'll be asking the question. Mr. Willie, read the question.
Okay, how can emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, broadband, expansion, mapping systems, and digital services be used to improve government services while protecting tribal sovereignty, cultural values, privacy, and employment opportunities?
Thank you for the question. So broadband mapping, internet capacity, expansion across the Navajo Nation is important. I issued a 100-day action plan as part of my campaign, and number 10, broadband mapping completion. It's important that we expand broadband mapping because public safety utilizes our coordinates. We need to be able to precisely show where our tribal members live. And then part of my 100-day action plan also is business development. In order to apply for an LLC, you have to have a physical address. I am a business owner, and I have struggled with identifying exactly where I live because there's no 123 Riverview Drive. We all know that. So in order to create an LLC, there's challenges in that aspect. And in order to build businesses, we need to be able to precisely address them. Going into public safety, I know the Navajo Nation is moving towards a different system where their dispatchers are all going to be housed in Kayenta now. Even if a call comes in from Delcon, comes in from Crown Point, calls in from Shiprock, the dispatchers at Kayenta will have to dispatch. And how do they know what Mr. Russell stated here? How do they know the Navajo routes and Eastern Agency? So the broadband will be able to help that. Broadband will help our people navigate artificial intelligence. We know that artificial intelligence is moving quickly, and we have to use it appropriately. I have come from the educational background. I have a Doctor of Health Sciences degree, and it's very important that we be careful about artificial intelligence. I know it's really easy to pull numbers and say I did this or that, or prove that you're making fact statements, but artificial intelligence is growing every day. And we have to be careful about that. Even with our songs, our traditions, those are reaching artificial intelligence. How do we trademark that as through our Navajo sovereignty? Have we ventured that yet? Have we made sure that those songs, those traditions?
Thank you. Next candidate, question will be posed from Dr. Karma Claw. Mr. Johnny Russell.
Candidate Russell, How will you ensure tribal funds, grants, and capital projects are managed responsibly and directed toward priorities that produce measurable benefits for Navajo communities?
Oh, yeah, based on that, Nelly. Each agency, 5 different agency, asati, based on bahadlo, idishli. Ako A's, nikanat ani, twido sanda, do, as twido sanda, yani do, veterans, based on day, nito, hatishi danes in the chapter funds, abe other had day, nito, idishli. Do defend the funds from Washington, they are Washington, other jo, basically getting all distribute out the money, equalize into the 5 agencies, or shield out the slicker. You said we get this thing or the slicker. Make sure we have 2 or 3 people overlooking the budget and the finance. The never not, but basically, show any door late, do harder and the later late. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Russell. All right. The next question for Mr. Trujillo will be coming from Deborah Yazi.
Have you participated in chapter meetings and planning processes when you're within your community? How will you strengthen communication and engagement between local chapters and the Navajo Nation government?
Again, thank you for that question, looking at chapters. Looking at my own chapter, I haven't participated as much with my own chapter, but I've participated with a number of chapters, especially in District 13. Also, when I was at the Division of Natural Resources, I visited a number of chapters, looking at the different projects that we were working on, communicating with those chapters to assure that these projects were getting done, and most importantly, to listen to them, to determine what is their concerns, what is it that they're looking at as different projects or different initiatives came down from the Division of Natural Resources or some of the companies that I worked with. We needed to educate our people about the projects because, again, the idea here is to work together in order to achieve results. And the only way we can achieve results is if everybody is informed. As we go through change, change becomes difficult. And at times we look at change and we fear change. But as we begin to understand and we begin to educate one another, and more importantly, I go with that philosophy, first let me understand, then I will look at being understood. I want to know first, what's your concern? What are you looking at as a community, as an individual, as a grazing permittee, etc.? And how do I begin to work within those areas? Because we're looking for common ground as we look at projects, initiatives, those different things that affect you as a chapter. How do we work with you and effectively? Because at the end of the day, we want to see results. We want to see progress. Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Willie, next question will be going to Mr. Donovan Begay. I know your name, so.
Okay, schools serving Navajo students continue to face budget challenges, staffing shortages, and reductions in educational and cultural programs. How would your administration work with schools and communities to improve educational opportunities for Navajo students?
What I know about the schools is that they have a budget every year, and it's true a lot of the budgets are going down because of the Trump administration is taking a lot of money and putting it elsewhere. The only way that you can get that those funds back is a delegation of leaders to go and talk to the Indian with the education departments and also the administration that is in now. So you have to lobby with the state officials and the tribal officials, the delegates, and then this is how you get productivity, is that you go out there and you lobby. You lobby for all these educational dollars back. You have to do that because you really need, you know, all those dollars to start your children off well, because we're getting them ready for the rest of their lives. I know there's some of the candidates are talking about bringing some of the kids back to the reservation, but what we're doing is we're trying to get them prepared to go out there into the world, and a lot of the opportunities are off the reservation, and we need to support them for everything that they're doing. It's very important to us because when they do return, they'll have a lot to give us, a lot of valuable information. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question will be asked by Dr. Karma Claw to Dr. Boo Nygren.
President Dr. Nygren, the Yazi Martinez education case highlighted longstanding concerns regarding educational equity and resources. What lessons should guide the Navajo Nation's approach to education moving forward?
بيا حكيها جن لي يو توجه بالخاز آنجه gold table has Andre that they hit all a jo nader nol il jo you bekagi schlecht bit nadigin kalchen yo toje bil khat zoje aje da ich tragi beso bit hast und ni hat noch hit all kalchen gezarin da hit all hit all beso da bit hast und jo no da ultra dol nagi ni hat non jo no nat sad da bal na ni to bal na an shay hoto ba yadal ke jon le yo toje bil khat zoje بكاجي شلش بدنيجي أجب خدا هاستوجي هجو بخيات كجونات أني أيتان تهديز شنشتي تنهاز تخنيجي دون لي بتزن هاسجا قدا ديت أو تاني تزن نيجي أو هجو بكيس زود نجنو هدون نيل زبان سكيس أو هتين كير بان سكيسي بيسو بهست أنيجي نجنون كزادو دنبي نيت لنيجيون كأول إيل بناهوديل أثيجي يات إيه هتون كألشن دنو سيلو يس يات تنندو ساني ليدو ليش نيجي هتو بان سكيس هتو ساد نن آدو ليش كه.
Thank you. Ms. Deborah Yazi will be asking the question to candidate Mr. Andrew Curley.
All right, Mr. Curley, access to clean and reliable water remains a critical issue. How would your administration prioritize water infrastructure projects, and what criteria would you use to serve the most vulnerable families first?
Thank you for that question. Water is key to my research, and water, I think, is key to the future of the Navajo Nation. I have been advocating for better water settlements, better water agreements between the Navajo Nation and the state governments since at least 2006. I think that we have been shortchanged in many areas, including with the San Juan River settlement. So people in the Fort Defiance region have still not received the water that they were entitled to under that agreement with the 7,411 acre feet of water that Senator Kyle put within the provision of San Juan River settlement. He said, you can't get that water until Arizona settles all its water claims with the Navajo Nation. That's not right. We're denying Arizona communities water, and the state of Arizona has been instrumental that we need to have a strong line against the states and demand our water access, our water rights, and water distribution. For people here in Shiprock, we need to emphasize farming. Farming is key. Small-scale sustainable farming. We need to clean up the waste from the Gold King mine spill. We need to do scientific studies on that. We need to instrument a food-to-school program. Prioritize hoop farming. Look into agrovoltaics. We can do that. We can irrigate. We can divert the waters from the San Juan River. This is a rich community in natural resources and sustainable agriculture. For here in Shiprock, that's the key. We really need to get the government to reinvest in this place. Your chapter house is still closed down. Why? We need to get that building up and running again. There's no excuse that you don't have a chapter house in this community. It's ridiculous. So I know we're talking about water, but infrastructure is part of that, including our civic infrastructure. So that is my answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next candidate in queue, Mr. Tom Chi and Mr. Melvin Willie will be asking the question.
Che, Mr. Chi, if a Navajo citizens goes missing tonight, there is no clear Navajo Nation-wide response plan that coordinates law enforcement, emergency management, search and rescue teams, nonprofits, and family support services. If elected president, will you commit to create that system, and how will you ensure the right leaders are in place to make it work?
Thank you for that question. The main reason, the main purpose of a government to exist is for public safety. When there is a sense that there's not enough safety across our nation and our communities, it's psychologically impacting our people. Way at night, when there's no lights, when there's no assurance of safety, people are stressed. And I think as a nation, that's what we've been subjected to, is a high-level stress continuously, day and day in, every day of our lives. Di nahat ate jehiki the neto to yan kesto bahoni ziniki a yahojo lego and sejel kliko hela shagan it ahanteta hela stal kashetlins and heda shetliahot nehla jenzo a edihan and lego banjera but ado katahotisti ebony now di kodona ide kidi hit ego ate benahot ago bayat hiko. Somebody said it very well. There's $10 billion sitting in investment in the New York City Stock Exchange. That is our money, $10 billion. And we are broke. We are dead broke billionaires out here. We need to get in there and pull money out for our public safety, ways to strategize and become, when our nation is at risk, when we're unsafe, we don't feel safe, we have no time to be creative. We have no time to explore beyond basic survival. We need to be assured that there is adequate police, adequate public safety. And those are one of the...
Thank you. Next candidate in queue, Mr. Larry Noble. Question will be coming from Dr. Karma Claw.
Candidate Noble. Would you support partnerships and cooperative agreements with neighboring law enforcement, emergency medical, and public safety agencies to improve emergency response during life-threatening situations? Why or why not?
For your answer here, that's the skiddy. At egg that Nahoti has Leon, great audience loud, Lenigis, Quatin, Nikaya Pakaji, Ikado, Lohit, or Adol Nil, Nenigi, Dre cross stepization, or yeah, it didn't now, be has an ilha, be Lada Le, Nikodo, it out a hot in the Kodobe Nika deal with Hito Kodo, now be Hobekaya Pakado, Chojo, Kaili, Sad. Because Annie dan Linibes had that it hot open the national Aiko has Annie. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Noble. Next candidate in queue will be Mr. Justin Jones. Question will be coming from Ms. Deborah Yazi.
Many Navajo families continue to experience delays obtaining residential leases, preventing access to utilities and home improvements. What reforms would you implement to improve the home site lease process?
First thing we got to do is reform the 2016 home site lease regulations. There are several things that are wrong with the regulations right now. Number one is you have home site lessee applicants who are trying to get home site leases here. However, kujit the bebenal sos that they sosigi eto tata no e kudopenina. Ako eto tata neniki et the bend the beta tenodan. Don't then that then. Ako egi kadot out the bebenal sos it otacho yelo hat the bend it no. Den neto bahas ada jenenigi di kwebik and otzo. Na kikuna ya napet the nade goto nana. Di kodo abahat ada the bebenal sos quet the nana and khad and the quege home site list or list juno go. Johot ago ya di the bebenal sos nade jahage to besnada ultra den. Akot open lahona that is akot the bebenant adan linigi yes. We have corrupt grazing officials in our chapters. Kadahot ahos ante ako di kwegi bik edotzo. Nana di the bebenal sos kwegi da di abasa has leo. Seta hajo kwegi pahui the note ligi panhaten the 2016 grazing regulations. There is no clear form of procedures for the adjudication of grazing permits and home site lease the way that they interact with one another. Dit a kwege dipe nahot sa in lenigi. Ako dipe has ani gi kwesha da baka. Ako dit a schot ebe has ani yaga edepe nish. Ako sa in lenis edepe hitch nahot dobik ahonil eda. Not ani duk at a hosh eda. Ako behasht eto nishit a biga.
Thank you. Next candidate in queue for question, Mr. Alexander Chambers. Question will be coming from Mr. Willie.
Mr. Chambers, if elected president, what specific steps will you take to ensure hiring and promotions within the Navajo Nation government are based on merit, qualifications, and fairness rather than political influence or personal relationships?
I talk to Navajo Nation employees currently, and some that would. There's a lot of people out there that want to come back and work for the nation, and there's no apparatus. There's no, a way where they can apply and put themselves out there. For example, I think it is very ideal that we create a online system that really allows the process to be expedited fast, so that way we can have ideally identify candidates. You guys talked about artificial intelligence. This is where it comes in. Artificial intelligence moves so fast that you can categorize and profile an individual in a matter of seconds. So if we incorporate that with just to move our processes fast, we can find really good candidates. Not only that, but good pay for Navajo Nation employees. Some of them are not making enough. Some of them are making $16 an hour doing a lot, like multiple tasks. They should be making at least $20, $25 an hour. And of course, that's going to cost money, but everything we do costs money. So we got to adapt to all those mechanisms that play within the economy and the private sector, the tribal sector, the government sector. So these are just certain things I think that we should, one way to find candidates would be that way. I hope that answers your question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Next candidate in queue, Ms. Debbie Nez Manuel. Ms. Dr. Karma Claw will be asking the question.
Candidate Nez Manuel, communities across the Navajo Nation continue to face challenges with road signage, home addressing, and emergency location services. What is your plan to modernize addressing systems and improve public access, and safety.
Thank you for the question. When we talk about road signs and emergency signage, I completely relate. I've mentioned this before. There's a route that you take from San Benito and you're driving into Window Rock. And anytime you go through there at night, the lines are not there. And what my biggest concern is for our elders. Our elders can't see very well at night. Even me, if I take off my glasses, I can't see very well. Those things are really critical. There's specific age groups that are really struggling with that, even your hearing. And so when we think about that signage, we have a lot of opportunities. We can promote businesses, which was brought up earlier, is we can create a company to help make signs. We can also work with county, state, and tribes to be able to buy signs from from our company, from our nation. There's a lot of opportunities to do that. And for emergencies, there's even more. When you look at night and you see all these people with LED lighting, we can create signs that really emphasize lighting that happens at night. That'll answer my question, but I wanted to respond to MMIW. That is a really serious thing. How we can correct that is to create a live dashboard to help people who have gone missing. So it helps the families, it helps the courts, and it also helps public safety to respond to those critical needs. Here in Shiprock, we know firsthand how that works and how challenging it can be. So those of you who are advocates in the audience, thank you for all of your work that you do.
Yeah, thank you. Next candidate in queue, Ms. Crystalline Curley. Question will be coming from Ms. Deborah Yazzie.
Infrastructure remains one of the greatest needs across the Navajo Nation. What are your top 3 infrastructure priorities and how would you fund and implement them?
Three infrastructure projects that remain a priority. These priorities are coming as a rural resident of Fish Point. So number 1 is water. Do kodo speaker and shlon do kodo besh but as an shlon etze be late the hasti dig to a project that for the state of Arizona. The Quishin Le 1985 yeah da kodo do bato the zin but the hello do kodo and jeno got ton hilyata hilin do that no jot atin the conslat ton dahike. Our youth are waiting for the opportunity to come home, to start businesses and to start homes, to have a permanent homeland, and it starts with water. If you don't have water in place, we can't move as a nation. It is coming up with a master water plan for the whole Navajo Nation. The water settlements, but those plans, the fund management plans, have not been presented, has not been made available to leadership. Second is roads. We have many road issues in the we have to be able to go up to Washington to look at all of the federal funding that comes in and say we want equal amount of equitable amount of highways. But it also goes back to water again. Doing a master road plan for the Navajo Nation. But it takes expertise and somebody to willing to do a plan.
Thank you. Again, candidates have 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer their questions. So if your mic shuts off, the time is out, okay? Thank you. How are they doing? Next in queue, we have candidate Miss Emily Ellison. And the question will be coming from Mr. Melvin Willie.
Ms. Allison, residents in rural and border communities often experience delayed emergency response times. what specific actions would you take to improve law enforcement, emergency medical services, and fire protection across the Navajo Nation?
Thank you for that question. Enforcement, punishment. We have a lot of rules on the books. We have a lot of laws. We don't listen to them, we don't follow them. Our current leaders right now, they're running for re-election telling you all these nice things. They're not following the rules. They're not working together. They're not finding solutions. It's already written. It's already been planned. People have already written this 10, 20, 30 years ago. So let's just follow the rules. And if you don't follow the rules, well, we also need our judges, our court systems, our law enforcement to follow those rules, enforce those rules. If it's not putting them in jail, it's giving them a fine. If it's not doing that, it's giving them administrative punishment. So we need these remedies. Without these remedies, we're out here like the Wild West, fighting each other. We're supposed to be civilized, right? We're the greatest Navajo nation in the country. We're so innovative, we're so talented, we're so diverse. The only thing that unites us is laws, rules, following it. So that's what my administration will do. As you see, I don't have anybody following me around. I'm not guaranteeing them jobs. I'm not paying them money. I'm standing here as a citizen, as a working mom, as a taxpayer, and someone who follows the rules and says, hey, you guys aren't getting it done in Winter Rock, so put me in there. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, Ken, kasta ha ishin hidini. Please hold your rebuttals, and I know you really want to come up here and share your answers. So Hajoya Ashonda, please. Again, everybody has different opinions on different matters and issues, so just bite your tongue. You go around the hog back. All right? Security. All right, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. We are almost We are almost through with round one. All right, next in queue we have Mr. Myron Leiser. The question will be coming from Dr. Karma Claw. You have 2 minutes to respond.
Candidate Leiser, what leadership qualities make you the most qualified candidate to serve as president, and what lessons have you learned from past challenges and setbacks?
Well, my leadership qualities are from the fact that I was the sitting president from 2019 to 2023, having served under very tense and rigorous conditions during the pandemic. We sought to keep a nation alive, offered hope and prayer, and unity, and we had to fight every unction of disunity. We had to fight every unction of non-communication, and we had to make sure, even if it was redundant, we had to make sure that everybody had the right information. Under a Leiser administration, I would ensure that we enjoy the highest levels of communication, because everybody deserves it, and that includes being transparent and accountable from every division on down and up, starting from the top. And so under a Leiser administration, I feel that my leadership was fully on display during that time as I was vice president, but also as 35 years in serving in a Fortune 500 type of atmosphere with 4 Fortune 500 companies. My management style is one that I always feel like our people are our asset from the top down, from the bottom up. Our people are our top asset. And so under Elijah's administration, my leadership would be as such that I feel that leading a nation would be the first and foremost thought of unity, of working together, and economic sovereignty. Everybody's talking about it. I'm doing it, opening up stores and hiring people. I want to also give visionary leadership a chance. We need everybody to be on the same page, and that's where communication comes in. And so under Elijah's administration, my leadership skills will be fully on display. Thank you.
Thank you. Next in queue, we have Mr. Frank Diaz Jr. Question will be coming from Ms. Deborah Yazzie.
Substance abuse, addiction, and mental health challenges continue to affect many families. What is your plan to expand prevention, treatment, and recovery services on the Navajo Nation?
We have a opiate settlement that's already in place. And the questions that we would have is, where have those funds gone? We want to know how they're being used. And opiate settlement also, those funds are specifically for what you brought up. And they're supposed to be addressing addiction. They're supposed to be addressing public safety. They're supposed to be addressing mental health. All these different areas need to be addressed with the funding that is being brought down. So again, my question would be, where are those funds today? Then what's left over? Then we need to start allocating. I've been a CEO for Kayenta Service Unit. I've been a CEO for the Housing Authority. And also I've worked for multinational organizations, NASA, I've worked for BHP. With that knowledge, then I would go in and take a look at the opiate addiction concerns that address the Navajo Nation. Then what I would do, is get appropriate personnel to ensure that they execute this. And I've done this before. When I worked for the hospital, we used to go in and count the drugs, medication every day, and then we would lock it back up. We would know exactly how many was dispersed at the end of the day. So we monitored it that way, and that's how we would do it. The costs associated with each one of those drugs were documented as well. And so we would implement that sort of process under my administration to ensure that we execute health care for our young people, for our urban Navajos that are out there, for the people who live here on the Navajo Nation and who are affected negatively, and also the family.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was round one. Allah, Jegi, Dabete Kito, not Anich, Hasi. Is everybody doing okay? Again, thank you, candidates, for being here. Thank you. We're going to move on to round two. We'll move on into round two. Have a drink of water. Again, these questions were submitted by Navajo citizens, so let's make some noise for Navajo constituents that scanned the QR code and submitted their questions. Are they good questions? Oh, yeah. Thank you for participating and giving these questions. Moving on to round two. Again, as soon as we're done with round two, looking at the time, possibly after round two, we'll go into closing statements. And we want to give some time to the candidates to do meet and greet outside in the foyer. إشي نخبي ده هتوصل كده أشيل لك إذا توصلنيتو كده أشيل بتشهاتزي إيدو نخا أدت النيل the end of this forum دوليل. So again, be mindful of each other, be respectful to one another. Hajo anik edi no hajo elch yel tkido adon da kon hinant ada lehido saton khak ebino nido le ashika. All right. Round 2, Khelabanahol Jij moderators, Mr. Willie. We're going to go ahead and start again. Kodoshi Khanahol Jij Dolech. We're going to start with Mr. Begay here. Moving on back this way, Dolech. For the sake of time, we're going to do 1.5 minutes for you to respond so we can get through Nana Dolech. The question to Dr. Jordan Begay will come from Mr. Melvin Willie.
Dr. Begay, federal policies and regulations often have significant impact on tribal nations. How will you advocate for the Navajo Nation's interests at the federal level and ensure Navajo voices are represented in national policy discussions?
Oh, thank you for the question. So this, going back to my 100-day action plan, number 7 is Federal Funding Task Force. This is important for the Navajo Nation to ensure that we come together as far as our 3-branch government. Our leaders need to be able to meet together and have the same priorities, speak the same language, because when it's time to go to Washington, we have to be able to say, these are our top 5 priorities, and we're going to work with the senators, the congressmen to advocate, whether it's for our water rights, whether it's for the Indian Health Service funding, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the Bureau of Indian Education. We know that thinking about the Navajo Nation's fiscal year 2027 budget, there's no increase from the federal side. So how are we going to be able to expand? We're talking about all these improvements and optimizations to our Navajo Nation government when we have to figure out where we're going to get the money to be able to do that. Other than the baseline areas that are covered by the executive, judicial, and legislative branches from the federal government, we got to find a way to expand. And in that, one specific thing, for example, is the Indian Health Service. We know that funding is there, but it's not meeting the needs of our Navajo people. Each and every one of us, we think about primary care, specialty care. Our people have to travel many miles to get specialty care, neurology, oncology, rheumatology. Why don't we have those services here on Navajo yet? We've had our sovereignty all the way back to 1868 when we signed the treaty, and we still are. And it's a challenge for me because to see our people, I know we're not supposed to talk about it, but they have negative health outcomes because they're still trying to wait for their purchase referred care referral to reach Phoenix, to reach Albuquerque, to reach Salt Lake, to reach Denver. And here we are at the so my administration would really work with our federal partners to ensure that we're improving the quality of life of our people, that we're not just talking about it, that we're ensuring that we benchmark increases in funding to be able to fund these programs, to the direct services to our Navajo people, because we know.
Thank you. Next question will be coming from Dr. Claw to candidate Johnny Russell.
Candidate Russell, what role should the Navajo Nation government play in supporting public schools, tribal schools, language preservation, cultural education, and higher education opportunities?
the education on the Nebazado, the next at the K level, both off the reservation and public school, out on lane to high school. It should be a requirement to graduate to the Nebazadi to get your diploma and all that stuff. A topic in that, Johnson, the Nebazadi, we need some educators in the universities, yeah. The Nebazar, the Dishilan, the Halon Dungeon, Ako, do Nasta Carter, Adon Kalchinda is Akude, under my administration, Honadon, Netlakon Kakadoja. Our hard, I say about what they're not going to be overqualified or underqualified. I say on that, we'll put them somewhere they can, whatever they study for, Hotad or little Hotad by a Bonsis case. I don't hear.
Thank you. Next candidate will be Mr. Trujillo. Question will be coming from Ms. Deborah Yazzie.
What does ethical leadership mean to you, and how will you ensure transparency, accountability, and public trust in your administration?
Ethical leadership simply means being truthful, being straightforward with the different stakeholders that you're working with. And not only the stakeholders, but with your own employees. You know, that's how I ran my efforts with the Division of Natural Resources, working for APS, BHP, working with ACES, working with Four Corners Economic Development. I was truthful in what I said. If I said something, I kept my word because my name was important. I worked with Four Corners Economic Development. I had to work with San Juan County, Bloomfield, Farmington, Aztec, and bring those entities together with small businesses. They would listen to me. I was a Navajo leading all these white people in what we needed to do with economic development because we were afraid the power plants were going to shut down. They hired me. And so again, that ethical aspect, how do we keep transparency? Through communication, through listening. I want to listen before I act. I need to understand what your concerns are, what the stakeholders' concerns are. Understand what my employees want and how do we achieve that goal. How do we work with council? We're not going to always agree with council, but we find common ground and we make things work. So that's.
Thank you. Next candidate, Mr. Donovan Begay. Question will be coming from Mr. Mr. Willie Naidel Kidole.
Mr. Begay, what initiatives would your administration prioritize to improve services and protections for women, children, elders, and vulnerable populations?
Thank you for that question. We're a matriarch society. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out how we're going to accommodate these women. I've been in this town. I lived over at low-income housing when I first came here, and I was living on the east side. And we have this fair. It's a big thing here, Shiprock. Big controversy. And the problem that we have with that fair is the facilities. We don't have restrooms. It's dishonor to the women. I mean, men, we could go over behind the tree over there, right? Yeah. But the women, we need to give them what they deserve. This fair needs to give them a clean restroom for them to have baby changing stations. Women like to be clean. They like to wash their hands. And we need that. We need to help these women in that way and always put them on a pedestal, because when your grandmother goes, that cornerstone goes away and your whole family falls apart. So that's my thing here, is one of my biggest platforms is to help this fair. We're gonna build a restroom over there for the women. We will. Within the first year, we will do that. And then after that, we're gonna bug Ben Ray Lujan for $200 to $300 million to fix up our fairground. They come every 2 to 3 years, 2 to 4 years.
Yeah, thank you. Next question will go to Dr. Bu Nigrin. This will be coming from Dr. Karma Claw.
President Dr. Nygren, what specific policies would your administration pursue to create jobs, support entrepreneurs, and expand economic opportunities throughout the Navajo Nation?
The first thing we got to do, as the Honorable Tom Chi mentioned, is we got to tap into the $10 billion that's in New York City. We got to mandate that 25% of that gets invested on the Navajo Nation. There are so many opportunities when it comes to tourism. You got Lachit, you got Canyon de Chelly, you've got Four Corners, you've got Chaco Canyon, you've got various areas across the Navajo Nation that needs real-time investments like the Four Corners area. I've mentioned in previous discussions, we've raised taxes by $34 million because the economy has gotten stronger. But imagine if we invested at least $500 million in projects that will generate new revenue, new taxes, and all those good things that are associated with it. Because when there's hotel, there's occupancy, that also helps our small businesses, our entrepreneurs, because people that have those full-time jobs are going to be able to buy from our vendors, be able to spend dollars within the Navajo Nation. At the same time, we're going to be able to extract dollars from people that come from all over the world. Those are some of the things I think about. I also think about we have to invest more in our assisted living facilities, whether it's our nursing homes, our assisted living facilities, and all 5 agencies, because those are profit-generating facilities as well. And so again, we do not have money. We can't say we do not have any money. We've got plenty of money. It's about time we spend hundreds of millions of dollars on the Navajo Nation so that we can build a real economy. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Next candidate will be Mr. Andrew Curley. Question will be coming from Deborah Yazzie. You have 1:30 to respond.
How will you work effectively with the legislative and judicial branches while maintaining the independence of each branch of government?
Thank you for that question. I think that it is very important that the next president have a good relationship with the legislative branch. We do not function if the 2 branches are always fighting. I've been looking at this issue since I was working with the Commission on Government Development back in 2012. We did a report in 2007 about reforming the tribal government. We see it's a structural problem. The problem between the competing interests in the executive branch and the legislative branch. What we need to do is educate our lawmakers, educate our community. It's an education for everybody where we know what the divisions of powers are. It's very important we understand what the council does and what the executive branch does. I had the benefit of having seen my father, who was a council delegate for 12 years, and seeing how that legislative process works and how he advocated for his community as a council delegate. So I think the important work of council delegates we need to be reminded of that. And the executive branch needs to work with council. I'll start by shaking Crystalline Curley's hand. So there we go, right there. So we just have to have rapport. We have to remember we're all here with the same interest. We want to better the Navajo Nation, and to better the Navajo Nation, we need to work together. So that's what we have to do. Thank you very much for the question.
Thank you. Next candidate in queue, Mr. Tom Chi. Question will be coming from Mr. Melvin Willie. Audience, please quiet down. Shh. Thank you.
Mr. Chi. The world needs more energy and minerals. Companies may want to develop oil, gas, helium, uranium, solar, wind, or other projects on or near Navajo land. How would you decide which projects should move forward and how they should be managed?
Thank you for that very important question. Our nation is at a critical stage. Though we have money tucked away somewhere, the immediate income for the nation is severely needed. Is that ona hotet seko de ba ne khai? A leda shon beken da wil ba otanel an yal ndai zago ba ne khai. Da to jont ko da to ba on sa khose behot alto lehan aten. So we have always been a natural resource nation. We need to double check on that. How are we still going to feed ourselves? There's the wind, there's the sun, the solar, there's other ways to make money. Azashin kaya hachekedo te hapeso halondo le shantin sha niyol sha de kon betsado yalnde dot aligi halon it yesim bidahon tratole. And then the other part to that one is we are so apologetic to the BIA, to the federal government. We're almost asking this question, may I? Could I? We are on our knees too much. We're starting to develop callous and say, this is our land. We're a sovereign nation. We're a government. We choose to do what we're going to do. The way we fit is best for our people.
Thank you. Next candidate in queue, Mr. Larry Noble. Question will be coming from Dr. Claw.
Candidate Noble, should the Navajo Nation work with other indigenous nations in the United States and around the world on issues like sovereignty, climate change, language, and protecting natural resources? Why or why not?
Can you repeat that again, please?
Should the Navajo Nation work with other indigenous nations in the United States and around the world on issues like sovereignty, climate change, language, and protecting natural resources? Why or why not?
Why is because we're the largest tribe first. Ado in the tain nihizad ille. I think Navajo, as a Navajo, the nani klinigi nihizad ko tanata as a sozina yospa. Eben na lede as na etan klinigi tan hinesh. Ebizad shows in eben net de zi tan hislin has twin or klinigi at eda at the stile. He took coat talkers, but net de zi. Ko ebe ille. Aro da nja ol isne da tsoje hota snanta ko le ata hois ade but kagish tleji dan le ju ajato ebe behez ani da halondo hasin tsugo ge na haki hollo ko ebe likina il ta be sa etlo jon ade nikinas ini binan ha ol le bin na she hot ko ede ya.
Thank you. Next candidate in queue, Mr. Justin Jones. Question will be coming from Deborah Yazzie.
Candidate Jones, drought and climate change are hurting water, livestock farming, roads, and health. What would you do to help Navajo communities prepare and stay safe?
One of the first things I would do, and it's very integral in dik at kweba ya del tiedadi had hat khani khodo ne lotit out or lesti ninigi. They're all good. John, but we have several problems we have to begin to address. Number one, we have a white elephant here in the room. We have 24 million that's missing. Aten, and what does that tell us? It tells us that we can't balance our checkbook. Besot open neti that olia. According ade kwagiti da hodon nifty. No, could besot open. We have a $5.5 million haunted house in Washington, D.C. we don't even use. We have 24 million on henest eoton hitletat egoban sikis dikat. Kot anit has antida. So deep beso hajo kwebik ehna hodol nil. Quag checkbook nadot alo has yo quag balance and dol nil. Ade, there is so much waste in the Navajo Nation system right now. There is so much waste. So coming from a management, business, private sector, you have to cut out the waste. So I have to disagree with some of my colleagues here.
Thank you. Next candidate, Mr. Alexander Chambers. Question will be coming from Mr. Willie.
Mr. Chambers, federal laws and policies can affect Navajo money. Healthcare, schools, police, land, and their environment. How would you protect the Navajo Nation when federal policies change?
It goes a part of kind of what Larry Noble's question is, the global order. If we are to protect our sovereignty, tribal sovereignty here in the United States and throughout the world, we must be in cooperation with the global order in here in the United States of America. That is what is going to keep and protect our sovereignty. So, anything that threatens our sovereignty, so, the United States government has over $25 trillion, and they just print money from the United States Treasury Department. And so, we have to tap into that. When they say we don't have money, that's not true. So, if we are to become the most powerful tribe in the United States of America to lead Native America, indigenous nations throughout the world, we must stand with strength and show that throughout the nation.
Thank you. Next candidate, Ms. Debbie Nez Manuel. Question will be coming from Dr. Karma Claw.
The question is, does the federal government have a duty to protect Navajo people, land, and resources? If so, how would you make sure the federal government does its job with water, housing, roads, school, healthcare, and public safety?
The government does have a responsibility to our nation because of our treaty when it comes to education, water, land, and our health. So when we look at this, we have to work really closely with our federal government. But we don't just have to do that, we have to build strong relationships. Too often we're talking about issues here, and as people here in the nation, we have no idea because there's no communication from any people in our government to tell us who is advocating in Washington, D.C. We hear zero. I understand chapters are contacting council delegates and they're contacting the president's office, thousands of emails, and they only get 4 responses. That is not communication. The other thing is, please, please do not let this administration have access to $10 billion. Absolutely not. There was a question earlier about working with the legislative and courts. Yes, we have 24,000 cases in backlog. They are your probate, they are your family issues. They're all in courts, and all we do is sit here and spend and travel. Why are we not dealing with the courts? That's about you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next candidate in queue, Ms. Crystalline Curley. Question will be coming from Ms. Deborah Yazzie.
What will you do to enhance environmental protections to ensure generations will continue to thrive on native lands?
Oh, yat edo kodo na de kid, how to protect our environment. And it goes to this generation, kodo anine koegi. The history of how council was created, how our government was created, was based on right-of-ways, permittee. We were mining leases, uranium. No, we have over 500 open uranium mines. I just live one down the road, Claim 28. We have all of these issues that we need to answer to. And if you do look at Kodonate Kid, where do our revenues come from? And it is time to move past that. Tozao has been 100 years. We do need to make sure that we diversify our economy. Better economy for our kids. We do need new ways to protect Mother Earth. We have to make sure that we protect this land for them, the water, the land, our livestock. We can't just go because it's a good deal or will bring in a lot of money. That is no longer the answer no more. Because we are here, we want different solutions. We want different opportunities. We can move towards a different economy.
Thank you. Hey, are you guys enjoying this forum? We're going to go through this round 2. Adon that will end after Mr. Daesh and then give the candidates their closing statements. Okay? And we're almost out of questions. So that's good. Let's give a round of applause to all the candidates up here. All right. Next candidate in queue, we have Miss Emily Ellison. Question will be coming from Mr. Melvin Willie.
Miss Allison, how will you mitigate 3-branch government conflicts?
You ready? It's a Bilagana system. It's a Bilagana system. If you look at the Navajo history, they already voted no in 1934 to a constitutional government. They already said no to a federalist constitutional republic, okay? That's not what we want. We want something that's based off of our culture, not something that resulted from the temporary government that was started in 1989. What have we understood? This Bilagana government does not work for us. Our courts are not doing their job. Our judges are not doing their job. Our council is not doing their job. Our president is not doing their job. We are a Navajo people. We have one lineage. We are all connected. We all speak Navajo. We know the history. This government reform proposal that is being pushed ahead, it doesn't fit us. It just adds on the constitutional component. So let's begin to start thinking from what our ancestors and our grandparents have always taught. And we're going to have to rely back on our Navajo traditional way. That includes the philosophy. Navajo traditional philosophy is about Huizhong. It's about, but it's also about being accountable.
Thank you. Next candidate in queue, Mr. Myron Lizer. Question will be coming from Dr. Claw.
Candidate Lizer, what is your position and or thoughts on the proposed government reform document, and what would you revise?
Well, you have to begin with the end in mind. I agree with our candidate to the left of me here. It doesn't fit us. There's ramifications that we have to consider, a lot of them too, and everybody knows I'm economic development inclined, and when people are saying we need more jobs, We need more revenue. We lost NGS, $50 million, 2,500 jobs. Where did our people go? And so I feel like we need to diversify. It's been said here. Nobody has an idea that we don't need. I think everybody up here is qualified to lead the Navajo Nation. I feel like, though, through economic development, we can hit small bunt singles of success to get to where we need to go. It starts at buy Navajo, buy local. And so I would think we need to all come. We need to bring in our youth to help inform us here because they want to be a part of this. We all say, go and get educated, study hard, keep your nose clean, stay out of trouble, come home and help your people. Well, they're doing that and they want to do that, but they have nothing here for them. They're saying that and they're going away to the metropolitan areas in droves. We got to do something to keep them at home. So what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do we build homes first and they'll stay, or do we create jobs and then they can come home? So we all need to work together on this here. I think we all here in this room here, we have all answers that we like to contribute. And the Lizer administration will listen to every viable idea.
Thank you. Why did the chicken cross the road? All right, so Che, so, ladies and gentlemen, are you enjoying the forum? Candidates, are you enjoying the forum? All right. Candidate Frank Davis Jr., you'll be receiving the last question for the night, 1.5 minutes to respond. Doa will go into the closing statements.
If elected, how will your background provide a more stable administration?
As I stated earlier, I have been a CEO at the Utah or the Kayenta Health Center. I've also been CEO for Navajo Housing. I've worked for a multinational billion-dollar organizations, international organization, as well as a national organization, NASA and BHP. So when you take that collective experience and you start to move a nation forward, then we need to start to take a look at the laws of the nation. I'm going to talk about colonial Indian law. Colonial Indian law. What happened to us is a doctrine of discovery. They came here to this country and they said, we're going to take everything from you. So that's what they decided to do, and they did it. Then they came here and they said there's a trust doctrine, which says that you have no rights. Any one of us, everybody that's sitting here, we have no rights. They came here and they decided that's what they're going to do. Plenary power doctrine is the other one, where they came and they said that you have no authority. We're talking about sovereignty. We're talking about how we're going to build our country. Well, the United States government has taken a lot of these things from us already. So we need to stand up. We need to start talking about our laws. We need to start talking about our traditional treaty of 1868. We need to start implementing every article in there.
Ladies and gentlemen, those were your questions and answer session for this forum. A round of applause to your 15 candidates. I want to say thank you to all of the candidates that made the time and effort to be here with us. So let's give a round of applause to our moderators, Mr. Willie, Dr. Claw, and Ms. Deborah Yazzie. I also want to acknowledge some of our current council delegate members. Would you all stand? The 25th Navajo Nation Council. We do have some council members that are here present with us. Would you stand? At this time, we have Shauna N. Claw. We also have Amber Kinasba Crotty, doing the former council delegate, Mr. Tashoni Slim. Chapter officials, let's give a round of applause to our chapter officials. Thank you. Closing statements. This is closing remarks, candidates. So give it your best shot. 2 minutes. شن خدا هدي لآلنا كده هالجنجات. زبك اسكيهو. Double سكيهو نيج هذا تحت. إيش بك أهدو ليل. Oh, are you guys ready? بيغنا. Kodoshi Hanahadol just from my right here, Mr. Dr. Jordan Begay, 2 minutes for closing remarks. Kodoshi ba tahidi laal.
O joyat e nana sik edo sidene aro tahasin lo ala no dao ebek ego yat e. On July 21st, I ask for your vote for ballot position number 9, Dr. Jordan Begay for Navajo Nation President. Greetings to all 427,000 Navajos. Please register to vote. Please participate in your election. In 2022, only 65,416 of us voted. That needs to increase. I hope my candidacy for this presidency encourages more voter registration. That's important. Good evening to all Navajos from Arizona, New Mexico, Utah. We haven't heard about the Utah Navajos. Where are the Utah Navajos? Woo! And how about the urban Navajos? The urban Navajos across the whole United States, the world. Come home and vote on July 21st. Vote ballot position number 9 for good. Again, moving forward. And Title 2. I'm going to read Title 2. The President of the Navajo Nation shall serve as the Chief Executive Officer of the executive branch of the Navajo Nation government with full authority to conduct, supervise, and coordinate personnel and programs of the Navajo Nation. The President shall represent the Navajo Nation in relations with governmental and private agencies and create favorable public opinion and goodwill toward the Navajo Nation. Again, the President oversees the executive branch. And that I will follow the law if you choose me as your president, and I will work with the legislative and judicial branches of our government. Please visit my 100-day action plan. It has 14 different high priorities that will be part of my administration. It is about the elders still waiting for water and electricity. Is it about the families driving unsafe roads? It is about the young people searching for opportunity while trying not to lose their language, identity, and connection to home. It is about the veterans who served honorably and still struggle for support today. It is about the communities asking for transparency, accountability, safety, and leadership they can trust. Vote Dr. Jordan Begay.
Thank you. Next candidate, closing statement. You have 2 minutes, Mr. Russell.
Yat edo shedene hanza shen hodi tsindo hodi tsa ya na gives a kado isun agency hunata naso tra Utah Navajo sha en house na kode gel kidi kajo are na shedol kelen kinat are di shlek isun agency would be on the tit at the hana da setta do you sha dilzenda ena do you sha da dot kustat shija ako hantla shin da shija yo ta di tsada aro jo da di listo jo consider case aro bahin it is that 75,000 rescue edition do bayat get the quila dal gada the qui dal gada the qui at the dal ako ato hedia had sit a kuda aro the Bitco company based on Baal at 63 or $31.6 million. Baal Ranch 800 houses, but it needs to never run it in that and the 8 of Bayatkida. 24 million by Basa Raya. Asia. A Koshana Anish, ain't can keep base ya. Out of your senior citizens, those veteran by Bada, who are the Baganido Bayashkin, or don't Johnny ever condished or the Hastlezi. 1974, don't listen, no, don't hate list. It's not priority, you don't need. Those Zagi. Next time, say all of it, don't listen, because you know, Ado Kehat, number 14, that's that Johnny Russell, Kehat.
Thank you. Next candidate, closing statement. You have 2 minutes, Mr. Arvin Trujillo.
Joy here, Nana. Basically, what I'm bringing to the table is my experience. Looking at not only the managerial efforts, but what have I accomplished? I was part of the negotiating team that lifted the Bennett freeze. I was part of the negotiating team that negotiated the San Juan River settlement. I was part of the negotiating team that brought millions of dollars from the oil companies. I extended the life of Four Corners Power Plant, Navajo Mine. I was a part of that team. I was a part of the team that expanded 491 and 550 from 2-lane to 4 lanes. I helped do those things with the Division of Natural Resources, my team. And we were able to get those things accomplished. We were able to work hand in hand with council. Did we agree with council all the way? No, but we knew how to find common ground. We knew how to compromise. We even still had council delegates who did not want to do those projects, but we had the majority, and that's what we had to work with. And so again, looking at that, my platform, looking at foundational things. One, bringing the two branches together. Let's work together. Two, bringing our government to a point to where we are service-related again. We provide services. And three, we open up our doors to business. We build an economy to bring our young people back home, our best and our brightest. They're leaving us. We grew by 100,000, from 300,000 to 400,000. But all that growth was off the reservation. We lost population on the reservation from 170,000 to 165. We've got to do something, and I'm willing to do what it needs to do to get those things done. Vote number.
Thank you, Mr. Trujillo. Next candidate, closing statement. You have 2 minutes, Mr. Donovan McGay. You're on the air.
Yeah, there. My name is Donovan McGay. I work for Los Angeles Unified School District. We have over 800,000 students in our school district. I wrote the curriculum for the Native American language and also cultural program, and which affects all those students. And I implemented everything I knew about being Navajo, also Native American. And we bring in people from all different tribes to re-educate almost 30,000 teachers. So a lot of these things, they just tell me, because my position is a cultural consultant, that it's just a consultant. It's just a suggestion. But a lot of these things that I did, it's now helping. We implemented the Nepazad program. They're running it in the is that done? Oh, they're running that in the program now. So that's what I've done. I work with the school district here in a way. The administration offices are here in Shiprock now. I had a lot to do with that. Right now, a lot of the teachers are making a lot more money than they were before, and a lot of these, I served on the Indian Education Committee, McKinley County. I never accepted my stipend. And there was a lot, I worked with the fair here, and I never accepted my pay there either, because that money was for the people. But I'm willing to do a lot of things. I'm about productivity, and if you're looking for somebody trustworthy, I'm your person. And if you want something to get done, I'll get it done. And that's just the way I've always done things.
Thank you. Closing statement from incumbent President Dr. Boo Nygren, 2 minutes.
Hehen, Hidini, the Lid, the never care of a card, I snot when I saw Tanagi, Horoshi sad that the Sado, the Nebanant, and yet they jig shed it or they swaldoshi edit or the Neban dish, the Nene, Hotoshi, the Sadot, and here Kahonils and Gadaza Dina, I said the never care of a car, and Jono, that is Nish. Na kid the meal hone la best the chi ha one but it has the asla the meal hone la to the has closed on le kaya but the has joined the deed the meal of master nes not team be landa is ledo kaya but cow da is in jono to the band that eligi des do of the hot on jono yat eho how one that the never kaya of count the has e all yeah the never yebans do let's be had it ado has ishi the need the never not arjud loy arjud do just the hoji Nahot, the Nayat Kitaho Nit, the Nayabad Hadropa, Kedahat, Haish Eben Yahosad, Nahiji, neither Eshi old get an abundance, Hoto Dailia, Niles Lat, son Atha, they have one, Banada, Nidak Adedi, Kahigi, Athar, Nes, not Dinoma, Nes, Nahone, Lat, never care of account, I don't need. Based on the Queen Shia, Nanite, na Kirines, not Dinoma, Disney, the meal, and Sahone Lad Radis, what order Ilia, Arot, King, not Didines, not in the meal, say Pede, Hinani, La, what ona, Nishida Ilia, Arokat, Didn't Ydes cargo, what a bay, Ydes cargo, what ona that they need. Big hadets and the Toshi Hajot, and never so that it's no Kedabadi, non, Jono, another did need Ebe, a Hehen, Hidini, the Letratza, Takone, Dasataki, Bunar, nada, no, nada, the Yohnilebe, a Hehen, and Hidini, the Les.
Thank you. Next candidate, ladies and gentlemen, next candidate, closing statement. Mr. Curley, 2 minutes, you're on the air.
All right. And he also ran the Shiprock Marathon, so we want to congratulate him for that, because that's an accomplishment. Hey, yeah. Thank you to the community. Thank you to the other candidates. I really appreciate hearing from everybody. Everybody here has really good ideas, so let's give another round of applause to the other candidates. The thing about Shiprock, coming from outside, it's always been an ideal. We've seen development approaches here for years. You go back to the Fairchild plant. It's had coal, 2 coal power plants, oil and gas, casino, Nappy, but yet it still struggles. Why? Think about that. Our development approach is failing. All of that money is going to the border towns. We really need to reevaluate how we do these things. We need to prioritize sustainability, sustainable agriculture, and local producers. Let us start using the water for local production and agriculture here. One thing, I have a 4-point platform. Land reform, this is going to make that kind of work easier. No new mining, again, no uranium mining. Integrity of the Dene Natural Resource Protection Act, no hauling, no new experimental mining techniques. Downsize the office of the president and vice president. Sorry to all you media folks, I'm not going to hire you again. Sustainable development, this is key. And the one thing I wanted to emphasize before I close is within this part of my platform, I want to establish a fund and fund the Office of Climate and Accountability. This will prepare us for the challenges of climate change. We need to be talking about it. It's not just an issue of natural resources, it's about our economy. We're land-based people. We need to start preparing for that. We need to know, look at how hot it was today. How are we going to survive in the future? We need to start thinking about climate as an economic issue. In my administration, we would create the Office of Climate and Accountability between the Division of Natural Resources.
Thank you. Next candidate, Tom Chi, 2 minutes, closing remarks. You're on the air.
You know, our land, our Navajo Nation, was considered a great nation in the past. We are at a critical stage from this on. Where do we go from here? How do we move it forward? The leadership becomes the watershed. There's a mandate that has come to me through my studies the coming years, and that from Micah 6, chapter verse 6, verse 8 says, he said, be merciful. He said, do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. I think it's a mandate for every leadership that is going to lead the nation. And here's the other thought is the land makes the people. Who we are, how we think, how we perceive reality is coming from where we live, the land that we live. Our elders were given the thought that come to the four corners, among the sacred mountains. This is your land. So it doesn't matter if you tell me I don't have or have land permits, farming permits. The gods of my ancestors have been told that this is their motherland. This is a sovereign land that we're going to fight all the way through to attain it, and that's what was needed. The language is the foundation of any civilization. When we lose the language, there goes our civilization. So language becomes the almost and most important thing. The other part to it is our veterans. Our veterans have fought in every war before the United States became a government. Navajo Nation before government, our elders and our warriors have endured that. Even though they were not citizens, they were not given voting rights until.
Thank you. Closing remarks, Mr. Larry Noble, 2 minutes. Hoditza.
Good evening. Nana, here Sahasi lo are Kodo Chilsagon dan Hide Kidon Hisolsa Hol Gij Aroshnant I Hodon Ilanastrangi Hot and Hido here Aroshim Benashin Zik case all Leko Hashine La Ecom Bajda House Yit Ado Hashine La E Hidat Ish Ado Lana no Senigito Etlapen dan Hide Kid Ado has Twido Sani no Senigin Hidota Hoteto Hayij na ite kid here hollo hada the bebenal sauce ita hol sauce ni kaya benal sauce that they not jaho sahon hits out in the has the probate no the benin na the quigoshin sad that you on haljish go hoda ai jo ban that neat khas I don't the economic development the nenigin de hot ananish hon shego na li haba hawan da haba jigis at oh you behez ani bcha nkitati Benina doch Bada who's Tita. Now we hope Kaya Pakaja, what at an array as nach Hidostana, Hibiga Hodas in the ne Dashon. Now Liapa one ante let that Abe has Annie than Lenny Auntie has shown that no little has jo be nail Nishon il Nisho Toiban Sahak Kishikane or Senigi Aron it Egisipin Natchet Kudo Shwatigi Benatchet. Als Trobohonetza, Jodanil to it and Nanitle, Anil to Ebe Kaheditne, Jado Hianils and then the Reshi Hakele, Ebe the Nanit, Lo Yabe, Hinitra or Yat Adon the consonant cohort, Edan Haljish, Sabetan Hodit, I let us clean Nihizad, Beyelt hit or less Nihizad, Beyelt Yobenahidil, Asli Nen.
Yeah, thank you. Next candidate, closing remarks, 2 minutes, Mr. Justin Jones.
Earlier, I thought I was at the Kirtland auction house. We are at a threshold here, we have a choice. We're either going to stay status quo and kick the can down the road, or we're going to have complete change. Justin Jones for Navajo Nation President has been about complete change. Not small changes, complete change. We have a defunct system. The system is dead. It doesn't work anymore. So we got to change that completely. And the first change that you're going to make is going to be on July the 21st. When you vote number 8, Justin Jones. Because on July the 21st, you are going to vote the majority of these leaders that are ineffective today. It's ineffective. Let's admit that. Kota hotoni, lotita hotoni, ta not obich esna ayol tatite. Hat that shit da has be season the quet okay not what driver that was not that has to change today. We need to start managing our funds. Pesot open ne. No open ne. And we got to pay our bills. Today, I got information that over 100 construction workers were laid off because the Navajo Nation is not paying its bills. This has to change, and it has to change with complete change of leadership, and we got to start.
Thank you. Closing remarks, candidate Alexander Chambers. 2 minutes, you're on the air.
Deya. Nishgonegi budget the Handika. Di Zilla de Senelia. Sisna Jin. So Zil dog or sleep the Bensa Zilla or Dilly. What out? Behadet Aya. Ebi do a Keda Hanit. Nihit Holo. Nihit Iyan Holo. Nihis Solazin. Nihi all ill. Ebi Hadnit Aya. Ebe nanit edole. Ekoro ebe nastika. Ajanshi hurahot ende. Ekoro nahat abadzi lebi bihindadika. Enide yat egin jgunigi. Idil We're going to see it. What shik no sini. So I instill that hope in you that we are a strong nation no matter what. Ajanshi hurahot ende. Nasko enchil gestolel. We are a strong people. What Najgono ebich the handika. What equado. Lede hastui dosani. But sort of in the desire. Lede ye that they need. Washington arobich that not edolel. Ane he ekenda dos zildolel. Ane he ekenda dos dadolel. Don't you don't need ya. So that is self-independency. That is a nation. That is one nation. What under God.
Thank you. Next candidate, closing remarks. Ms. Debbie Nesmanuel, 2 minutes. You're
Thank you.
on the air.
Thank you to my family for your unwavering support, to our veterans for always showing up and helping out, and to our public safety, fire, and all of the advocates who stand up for the people, especially when they're volunteering. As your president, the experience that I bring into the office is the fact that I've been on a task force for the Arizona governors, helping to create and pass laws. I've also have nonprofit board experiences, both where I've served 3, 4, 6 years. When I look at the tribal government, I've worked for urban and remote tribal governments. I've also partnered with a lot of legislators in Arizona and within New Mexico. When we think about the fundraising that needs to be done, there's a lot of financials that are important. But if you don't know how to fundraise, look for grants to help the people, you can't go far. I've worked with youth for close to 10 years in leadership development. 0 suicides among all of the youth. That is one of the proven experiences that I have. I also serve on the Democratic National Committee, collaborating with stakeholders in 17 states and Democrats abroad. I serve as the vice president for the Women's Caucus, the largest Democratic caucus in the United States. I also am a mom of 3 daughters, strong, driven, courageous young women. I know how to parent. When I look ahead at all of the issues that we're going to take on, Chief Manuelito said for us to go and get an education, protect the people. When the Navajo Code Talkers enlisted, they said, we're going to go out and protect the people. When Dr. Annie Winika set out to protect our health, she knocked on every single door and she said, protect the people. When Albert Hill.
Thank you. Closing statement, Speaker Crystalline Curley, 2 minutes.
Oh, yat edo kodo hehe non kitideshni. Thank you to the organizer, ado kodoshanant ado notlinigi. Ado shedo shahacheta. To e koto ata totli to holni e to begin dishgeda. Jo koto a manshli to heshin haden shina kregi hajogo gobansas kes. Yat e nahat yat e sadiki jok at e ban haten. Heshin koto heshin jono kon hana holiado le nziniki e tanitsen koto. So thank you again. And I think one of the urgent actions that need to take place is putting the integrity back into the office of the president and vice president. Ado kodo heshin hayadon dal nishiki division directors, attorney general. Heshin behes anik et the hos inikido belta aliniki ta east eki ta nidzen. Ado kodo the ketan hot iniki northern agency. I will continue that fight for you for Rika, cleaning up your abandoned uranium mines. Ado kodo ta farmers. That is our original way of living. That we need to provide for our families. No longer going back to useless energy that will not provide for our families in the future. And being a leader is about lifting your people with love and with hope and compassion. And overall, kodo e shiket and so zito le to hastat ata kone e taseta eta nilo. The very last one at the ballot hit the taseta nete amasanele ishne oha shi kodo shitsui jant the bag hit e gale ha you la do hashke nile. Kodo e hota en keja hasito le to nana ahehe.
Thank you. Next candidate, closing remarks. You have 2 minutes, Miss Emily Ellison.
How can you not be angry when your government's wasting so much money? How can you not have that frustration when the things the government's supposed to take care of, they don't? Then they say, Joy, shake my hand, I'm gonna go to Vegas now. All right? Let's hold our leaders accountable. One of the first things I want to say is women belong in all places decisions are being made. That's a direct quote from the notorious RBG, Supreme Court Justice. From our grandmothers to our moms to our little moms, they've helped us, they've helped our families. Let's give them the respect. We have some Hatkatlis here, up here. Water. You can't complete a ceremony in any religion across this entire world without water. And who carries that? It's the women. Water brings us healing, it brings us food, it brings us comfort. We need to respect that and protect that. The Bilagana see it as a commodity. For us, it's a way of life. I've got a lot more to say, but what I do want to say is we need a better, stronger government and leaders that are accountable, so vote for me, number 10, Emily Ellison.
Thank you. 2 minutes, closing remarks, Myron Leiser.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who gives me the ability to be here. I also want to let you all know that I believe that the next Leiser administration will build a nation. I also want you to know that I was supposed to take the position of Assistant Secretary of Indian Affairs, but I balked. I didn't want to take that. I was also supposed to take a position of National Indian Gaming Commissioner. I didn't take that. I was also just one day after I announced my running for Navajo Nation President, I was called from the White House to take a Small Business Administration Native American Affairs Division. and obviously I didn't take that. I want to take all of the notoriety, the name, image, and likeness that I have and help propel the nation forward, because what you're all asking for is jobs, is revenue, is more homes, more infrastructure, and I believe I'm the man to do this with a administration that will serve its people at the highest levels with integrity, with truth and honesty, and with work ethic. I also want you to know that I wish to be your hope dealer. Your hope dealer. I want to be a hope dealer. And so through my platform, Economic Sovereignty and Visionary Leadership, I know the great Navajo Nation has always been in a position because of who we are, the largest land base, 27,000 square miles, and the largest tribal membership, 427,000 tribal members. When you have a congregation that big, you have to look out for their best interests. And I believe I'm the administration to do that. And so I want to get Navajo Nation ready, willing, and able to propel us into the next dimension of who we will become. Amen. And so vote Myron.
Yeah. 2 minutes, closing remarks. Frank Diaz Jr.
On July 21st, I want your help. I'd like you to vote Frank Diaz Jr., number 6, for president of the Navajo Nation. I want to re-engage the urban relatives. I want to re-engage the youth to come and help vote us into office. I also want to talk about the things that I've done. You know the job experience that I have. You know my career. You know that I've been successful at all of those items. I've managed doctors, I've managed administrators, I've managed engineers, I've managed lawyers, and I've also managed departments and programs, staff and budgets. I also have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in management. And I also founded and ran my own company for 4 years, a small auto shop here in Shiprock. I come from a stable family environment. I've been married to my wife since we met in high school when we were 18 years old. Yes, I was the former vice president of the Navajo Nation and someone who has been a part of Window Rock. I hear you. I've heard this at a lot of different places. And I also understand your frustration with what's going on. But let me tell you, this is what happens when you put someone in office who isn't ready. You have confusion, you have lawsuits, and you have people who can't work together. And all that wounds up in no service.
Yeah. Kid. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause for all of the candidates that showed up today. Not ani yuniyade jihigi. Na de zeto na tin saoyos kasone. Akone e atcha at e ishja. Get out and exercise your right to vote. Dot osa dahonosone. Chapter house. Ahodin nas nakadat oz niltra nas nilite. Dobik aho in aho ahune de shisha peso de nido lis. So thank you, candidates. You're not excused yet. The colors will be retrieved. And then we'll go to closing prayer. So the thank you to all of our sponsors, our moderators, and those that stepped in to say we will help. Njono nakhatza shin reba gani tegi nakhalch nado nse nihinas alche detotske. General election will be November 3rd, 2026. Again, at this time, we are going to ask the Shiprock Chapter Veterans Organization to retrieve the colors. If we can all stand to our feet, ladies and gentlemen. After the closing prayer is done, we're going to ask the presidential candidates to make your way backstage, down the hall, and then outside to the front. You'll have meet and greet. You can take pictures. This time, we're going to retrieve the colors. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for your Shiprock Chapter Veterans Organization Color Guard. Closing prayer will be done by Shiprock Chapter President, Mr. Ray John. Dismissing kit Iliado Lil.
Yate. Man, colorful people out there. Yeah, Katasoli. And all these people, I'm very humble and honored to be in your presence. Yeah. But more importantly, I'm more humble and honored to be in your presence. Yeah, Katasoli. Ako ba Henson. Ako she yahawan sana nishle. Hashkan hatzaho pashes chin. Na kaiden e dashit chinale. Todichi did a shit shay. I don't shall iki ani that I don't todichi did all that. A call a cot or shall chin long. A call here lang. Quite a ya so there's in belch hundo link. I don't codot nata has see. Do in done a deba at no long quay at la seat linky. Tati Nielsen dolle. Ako go ya deity kittenson. Shitting God. Amen.
Thank you. Round of applause again for all your candidates. Remember to vote next month. Na din sa oyos katonet. Kojagoshich adoka. Stage